Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm River Matt. I'm the Connectionalist, and today I thought I'd do something kind of funny, kind of a different change of pace. Usually I do like serious theological videos, but today we're going to be doing which denomination are the original 151 Pokemon. So, a little fun fact about me: I'm a huge Pokemon fan. I played the video game competitively, and I've been a fan, since I was a kid. And when I was a kid, it was the original 151 Pokemon. So what we're going to do today is I made a little tier list here. So we're going to come out here. We're going to take a look at this. So I want you to see this right here, okay? These denominations are listed in no particular order. Okay, so like even though Methodist is at the top, where a lot of people put S tier, that's not what this is. Not like this is not a list of denominations ranked by how much I like them. I just thought it would be funny, just on complete vibes. Okay, on complete vibes, just what denomination would each of the original 151 Pokemon be? Okay, so try to remember that this is a joke. This is funny, and I'm really interested to hear your comments. Some of you are gonna be like, I have no idea what he's talking about. I have no idea what this is. But some people are gonna like this. I think some of the younger cohort is gonna like this. So let's go ahead and jump on in. All right, first we got Bulbasaur. Okay, this is Pokemon number 1. Bulbasaur, very cute. Um, Seems like he's not mischievous. Like he's just kind of a nice guy, very cute, probably not very reserved. I feel like Bulbasaur gives off very, let's see. I feel like Bulbasaur, he's very proper though, if you look at him. So I'm going to put Bulbasaur in Catholic tier. I feel like Bulbasaur is Catholic. Now, if we come to Ivysaur, his evolution, he's much more edgy. You can see that in the design right here. This is like a much edgier Pokemon. Kind of loves to be out on the edge. So for Ivysaur, I am probably, let's go. He seems a little less proper and a little more on the edge. So let's go with Baptist here. I'm feeling Baptist here for Ivysaur. And now Venusaur is the final evolution here. Venusaur, just big flower on his back. Kind of seems like he's upset in the picture, but really he's more of a gentle giant. And so when I look at Venusaur, I'm getting like ancient vibes, like ancient. So I'm gonna go with Eastern Orthodox actually on Venusaur. That seems correct for me. All right, Charmander, very cute. Many of you recognize Charmander. Let's see, what do I want to do with Charmander? I feel like Charmander is like the cool guy that everybody likes in your local youth group, but what denomination? Let's see. I feel like Charmander is giving off very just complete vibe check. I'm gonna put him in. I'm gonna put him in Methodist. And the reason I'm going to make Charmander a Methodist is not because he's my favorite. I'm biased towards the Methodist, but I just feel like he's giving off a very much he cares about others around him kind of vibe. Now Charmeleon kind of edgier. You'll see this with a lot of Pokemon. Kind of edgier, kind of seems confident, self-confident in himself. Seems like he likes to debate. So I'm actually going to do Presbyterian. So I like Presbyterian for him. And then Charizard, very proud, high flying, very proud. And so I'm going to put Charizard. Better make Charizard. Better put Charizard in the. Let's put him in the. Let's put him in Catholic. That's what my spirit's telling me. It just feels very proud of him, his tradition, that kind of thing. Okay, Squirtle. Squirtle immediately gave me Episcopalian tears. I don't know why. Don't ask me. I just feel like when I see Squirtle, I see an Episcopalian. I don't know. I don't know why. Wartortle got the big ears, got the big tail here. Wartortle seems determined, seems like a little bit of a rebel. So let's go with the original. Let's go with the original Protestant, right? Lutheran here, right? Seems like a little bit of a rebel. Okay, now on Blastoise here, we got big water cannons on his back. I'm a big Blastoise fan. So why don't we go? Let's see. Blastoise. Feels sturdy, feels well grounded. So let's go Anglican. I'm gonna go Anglican tier for Blastoise. Now Caterpie, we're getting to the bug Pokemon now here. Okay, so we got Caterpie here. Caterpie. What are we gonna do for Caterpie? I am not sure what to do with him. He seems a little spaced out. Seems like tradition doesn't really matter to him. He's just here to vibe and worship. So I'm going to go non-denom for Caterpie actually. Metapod though, on the other hand, his evolution Metapod. He's in a cocoon. He's in waiting. Very stoic kind of look to him. So with the stoicness, I'm actually going to go. I'm gonna go with the very stoicness. I'm feeling Anglican. I don't know. That's just what's saying to me. Now Butterfree, beautiful. The symbol of the resurrection. It's a butterfly, right? So for Butterfree, I'm feeling Butterfree. I feel like is a good friend, right? Butterfree's a good friend. Likes to fly high. Likes to go in groups. I'm also feeling I'm feeling a little bit of I don't know. When I see a butterfly, I think Catholic. I don't know why. I just feel like that's where I want to put it. Weedle. Okay. Weedle. He's got a poison sting on the back, which means he's always ready to go. But he's very gentle, unless you mess with him, right? Weedle is giving me. See, this is tough, chat. I don't really know where to put Weedle. I feel like Weedle is kind of a blank slate. So I might come back to him later. I'll come back to him later. Let's go with Kakuna. Let's go with Kakuna here for a second. So Kakuna, kind of the same thing as Metapod, just kind of a silly Pokemon. Because it's in a cocoon, it's in a waiting space, and so I'm gonna join it in Anglican. Now Beedrill, people are gonna be mad because Beedrill looks kind of mean and evil or something, but I really see Beedrill as like defensive of his tradition, right? And a fighter, and anytime I see that people who are defensive of their tradition, I think of the Presbyterians or like the Lutherans, but I'm getting more Presbyterian vibes from Beedrill. Pidgey, I'm getting major. I'm getting major Baptist vibes from Pidgey. Just kind of is what he is. Isn't concerned about what other people think about him. So we'll go with there. For Weedle, I'm kind of feeling the same thing for Weedle. Actually, I'm going to put him in Baptist. I feel like he would be a good complement to the other two. Pidgeotto, starting to get a crazy hairdo, crazy tail thing going on here. Pidgeotto, very proud. Feel like Pidgeotto comes with a little bit of an attitude. And Pidgeotto, kind of reminds me of RZ a little bit, so I'm going to put it in Presbyterian tier. But Pidgeot is a little bit more distinguished, and so I'm going to put it in Anglican tier. Now, Rattata, somebody's going to get mad because they're going to be like, oh, you put the rat in mine? Rattata feels like it kind of goes under the radar a little bit. Resourceful. Yeah, don't get mad because I'm not like, oh, seeing a rat. I feel like, see, because this is Rattata and Raticate, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure where to put the rat Pokemon or the snake. That's why this is gonna be so funny. People are gonna get so mad at this. I feel like with Rattata, I think of like a church mouse, and when I think of church mice, I think of Lutherans. I don't know why. I just think of Lutherans. So I'm gonna put both of those in the Lutheran tier, and then we got the other bird Pokemon, but they're a little edgier. And so, like, what's the edgier version of like the Baptists and the Presbyterians? Is I don't really know if you have an edgier version. I feel like with Spearow and Fearow, they seem like they don't care about tradition, and they seem like they want to do their own thing. They seem very independent, so I'm going to go Spearow and Fearow and the non-denom. Now, the two snakes, Ekans and Arbok, the snakes, people think they're mean. They're not mean. They're just, they're hanging out. With the Arbok and Ekans, I'm really feeling that they have kind of they seem protective, right? And I'm getting kind of like I get an Eastern Orthodox vibe from them, and not because they're snakes, but because like I see a cobra and I think of like more in the East, but I know there's not cobras in like Greece and Turkey, but that's just the vibe I'm getting from them. So let's go with Pikachu. Pikachu, I'm putting in Methodist here because I can. And I want to. And I just feel like Pikachu cares about his friends, cares about the world, cares about the justice in the world. So I'm going to go with Methodist here. Raichu. Um, Raichu, though, Raichu's really cool. And I feel just Episcopalian when I see Raichu. On Sandshrew and Sandslash, okay, they're like ground moles kind of. On Sandshrew and Sandslash, it's really giving me they're giving me Eastern Orthodox vibes because I feel like they are traditionalists and they don't want to change anything. That's what I feel like. Okay, now we have the Nido Pokemon here, the Nidorans and the Nidoran male and female. So kind of got a similar thing. From all three of these Pokemon, um, I'm gonna try and group them all together because I think that makes more sense because I'm gonna group them together like as a family. And I really feel like Catholic seems right. This seems like a Catholic mom and her kids right here. Catholic mom and kids. And then this is Catholic dad and kids right here. Okay. So we'll give the Catholics. Okay, then we got Clefairy and Clefable. They're kind of cute. They do a little dance. They're a lot of fun. I feel like Clefairy and Clefable, I just get Episcopalian tier from them. They feel like they love tradition, they love ritual because they do a little dance. They like the ritual piece. So I feel like they would be Episcopalian. Vulpix and Ninetales. See, now people are going to start fighting because I'm getting into some people's favorites here. But I will do my best. Vulpix and Ninetales, very stoic, unbothered by the world around them. The red and the flame. I think I'm going to go with Methodist for Vulpix and Ninetales. Not because they're appeals to it, but because the fire, and I think of the Methodist cross and flame, the emphasis on the Holy Spirit. So I'm going to do Methodist on this one. You know what I should add? I need to add this. I'm going to do this. Add row below. I'm gonna put the Pentecostals in here. So let me do that real quick. The Pentecostals, because I feel like that's going to come up 100%. And you know what? I'll move. The joke would be to move the snakes down to Pentecostal tier, but I'm going to be nice. Because not all Pentecostals snake handle. It's actually the vast minority of them, so we have to be fair. Okay, Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff. Same kind of vibe as Episcopalian tier. Zubat and Golbat. Ooh. They're kind of scary, but I don't want to say a denomination scary. Bats love, they use echolocation. They're in caves. This is really, really tough. Let's go. They're not very quiet. I feel like they would jam out to the worship music at a non-denom church. I feel like they would really, the non-denom like rock music, I feel like they would jam out to that and have a good time. Oddish, Gloom, and Vileplume. Let's see. Oddish, they're plants. It reminds me of like a church garden, and where you're going to most likely see like a beautiful church garden. Honestly, Episcopalians. I feel like they have really nice church gardens. At least from my experience. Okay, now we have Paris and Parasect. This one's kind of tough. I'm immediately getting Pentecostal vibes. I don't know. That's just what my spirit said to me, so I'm going with it. Venonat and Venomoth. Okay, we're about halfway done. Venonat and Venomoth. Let's see. How about they're bugs. It's like a moth. When I think of moth, I think of like older, like kind of ancient, like an old church library. So I'm gonna go Lutheran with for like an old church library where you can get into some old like academic tomes. Methodism has like, and the main lines all have like church libraries, but like I feel like the Lutherans do that better than anybody. Diglett and Doug Trio. Oh, they live in the ground. Hmm. Diglett and Doug Trio. I mean, what my spirit immediately says to me is like Eastern Orthodox, and I literally cannot tell you why, but that's what I feel. Persian, and I'm gonna put Meowth. He's got a giant coin on him, and that makes me think of Prosperity Gospel, so I got to put that in the non-denom. Now I got to tell you, guys, non-denom. I know not all of you are Prosperity Gospel, but most that are in the non-denom. That's where I just want to put it. Now we have Persian, his evolution, Meowth's evolution, and like very dignified. I'm putting Persian in Catholic tier. Absolutely. Psyduck is very silly and unbothered, and is just here to vibe. And so I feel like Psyduck would go really well with the Pentecostals. I really do. Golduck, not so much. I feel like Golduck is a Presbyterian. He's kind of edgy and wants to. I don't know. Golduck just feels like a Calvinist to me. All right, we got Mankey and we got Mankey and we got Primeape. They like to fight. They're like fighting Pokemon. So Mankey. I feel like Mankey's a Baptist. And I feel like Primate's a Baptist as well. Don't really ask me why. I just feel like they would fit in at the local Baptist church. Now I have Growlithe and Arcanine here. These are the dog fire Pokemon, and Catholic, Eastern Orthodox. I feel like Growlithe is the kid at the Baptist youth group that you knew from town. And his dad is the pastor, and that's Arcanine right there. That's the vibe I'm getting. That's like preacher's kid, dad pastor. And then Poliwag, Poliwhirl, and Poliwrath. Water Pokemon, maybe high emphasis on baptismal theology. And so when I think of, they love to be in the water a lot, right? So let's talk about the people who rebaptize. A lot of Baptists rebaptize. So I'm going to put all three of these in Baptist because I feel like that just makes sense to me. Abra, Kadabra, Alakazam, Psychic Pokemon. They do some cool stuff. I feel like Abra's very quiet. I feel like he'd be a very good Lutheran. Kadabra, little different. And I'm getting Eastern Orthodox vibes. I think it's like it's the hair style they got going on. I'm getting Eastern Orthodox vibes from that. I feel like they would fit in really good. Like the big mustache. You always see like the Eastern Orthodox patriarchs with like the big mustache and beard. So that's what it makes me think of. So I'm going to put Eastern Orthodox on that one. Machop, Machoke, and Machamp. Ooh, fighting Pokemon here. Let's do... Oh man, he's got like 4 arms. I forgot about that. Let's do Machop. Machop looks like he's got like a slicked back hairstyle, like he's like an old Baptist minister, and then you got Machoke with the same thing. I'm gonna put all 3 of these in Baptist, and then we have Bellsprout, Weepin' Bell, and Victory Bell. Plant Pokemon. Let's put Bellsprout. They seem Pentecostal to me. At least the first. Yeah, he's got the big mouth, so he can sing loudly with the Pentecostals and do speaking in tongues, all that piece. So let's do Pentecostals there. Okay, we got 2 water Pokemon here, Tentacruel and Tentacruel. Let's do Tentacruel in the This is actually really tough. This is maybe the toughest one I've seen so far. I feel like they see this they live in the ocean. who has the bigger presence on like coastal areas? You know, I feel like globally it's Catholicism, right? Because they're just everywhere. Um, but I'm not getting Catholic vibes. I'm getting very like Pentecostal vibes from these two as well. So I'm gonna put them there. Geodude, Graveler, Golem. So like rock solid, unshaking, unmoving. I'm gonna put them Eastern Orthodox. Unshaking, unmoving over time. Again, Ponyta, Rapidash, Fire makes me think of Methodism because the Cross and Flame, they seem like they would be Methodist. Okay, Slowbro, Slowpoke and Slowbro, they're very goofy. They're just here to vibe. They're going to the non-denom church. Come on, look at that. You know he's going to the non-denom church. He's like, I don't care about apostolic succession. I don't care about the traditions of the church. I just want to vibe. I want to sing my worship music and vibe. And that's cool. That's fine. I feel like they would be non-denom. Okay, now Magnemite and Magneton. Electric Pokemon actually. Magnetic. Magnetic. So they're magnetic. So they attract people to them. They're like very evangelical. I'm gonna also go non-denom. Non-denom evangelical. Okay, Farfetch'd. He's got a leak. He's very proud. I'm getting Catholic vibes from Farfetch'd. Farfetch'd looks like... Farfetch'd, I feel like, for all the other Pokemon, would be like the leader of the local RCIA class. So let's put Farfetch'd there. Okay, Doduo and Dodrio. Birds, kind of edgy. I'm putting a lot of the edgy... Doduo is not very edgy. I'll put Dodrio in Presbyterian tier, and I'm going to put Doduo in... I feel like he would fit in with the Anglicans, with Pidgeot as well. So I'm just going to put him there. Seal and Dugong. Okay, Seal loves the water. They love to perform. They're kind of majestic. And so I get Catholic vibes from Dugong, but Seal's kind of silly, and so I'm gonna put him in Anglican. I'm gonna put him in. Ooh, man, this is really tough. I'm gonna put him in. Like, if Seal was gonna join a local Sunday school class, where would he join it? I gotta go with the Church of England, right? No. Let's put him in. Let's put him in Baptist. I don't know. That's the vibe I'm getting. Okay, Muck and Grimer. Muck and Grimer right here. Muck, they're just like big piles of sludge. That's pretty much all they are. Muck and Grimer. I feel like it's like, who's willing to get down in the nitty gritty of society with like the poor? I'm gonna put a Methodist. I'm gonna put Methodist here for Muck and Grimer. I feel like they are willing to get in the nitty gritty of society and work with the poor, and that reminds me of my own faith tradition in Methodism. So okay, Shelder and Cloister. Ooh, Shelder and Cloister. What do I want to do with Shelder? Shelder's got his tongue out. He's being very silly. I feel like he's non-denom. I feel like he's there to vibe. Cloister, though, much more serious. He was non-denom when he was a Shelder, but then he evolved and became more dignified and decided to convert to Catholicism. That's Cloister. Ghastly, the ghost Pokemon. Ghastly, Haunter, Gengar. Gengar, Ghastly is... Oh, man. Because it's like very spirit. They're spirits. I'm going to put them in the Pentecostal tier. Okay, Onyx is a rock Pokemon, very ancient. I've been putting a lot of the rocks with the Eastern Orthodox because I feel like he'd fit in there. I'm not a big fan of Drowsy and Hypno. I don't like the designs. They kind of creep me out. But Drowsy, I feel like, what church service are you most likely to like fall asleep in? I feel like it's got to be one of the main lines, right? Like if you're having a late night, and you wake up, I feel like it's got to be like your local like Lutheran church, and that's not because they're not reverent. I just feel like that's the vibe I'm getting from these two, right? Now I've almost fallen asleep in a Methodist service and in a bunch of services, so This is all in good humor. Krabby and Kingler. Krabby and Kingler. Where do I want to put Krabby and Kingler? Krabby is here to vibe, so I feel like non-denom works for him. And then Kingler, he's thinking about converting, but he's still non-denom. He can't bring himself to walk away because he's got too much independence of his own. Voltorb and Electrode, the most boring Pokemon in this set. But I'm not going to rate them on their boringness. I'm going to rate them on... See, this is kind of an edge lord look. I'm going to put Presbyterian here. Same with Electrode. Let's see. Execute. Execute, they look like they're up to something. Just get a Pentecostal vibe from Execute. And then from Executor, I'm getting a very, like... This is kind of your local kind of goofy guy who's kind of a nerd, but he's joined the local Lutheran church because he found community there. Cubone and Marowak. Cool Pokemon. Cubone, I'm getting very Anglican vibes from Cubone and Marowak. Maybe more from Cubone and more of Maybe Marowak Anglican, like Church of England, and I mean Episcopalian and Anglican. I know they're similar, but I'm feeling more Episcopalian for Cubone. All right, Hitmonchan, 100% Baptist, 100% Baptist. Just like the all-American punching Pokemon, it's like I got to put him in Baptist here. Hitmonlee though, he's kicking. I feel like he's a little bit more dignified. So maybe he grew up Baptist, but he just found his place in the Methodist Church because he felt he needed a little bit more reverence and worship. Okay, Lickitung. Lickitung would probably want to go somewhere where he can eat, have good, potlucks, all that kind of stuff. The Methodists are known for that pretty well. But he's going to want probably weekly communion, and unfortunately, my Methodist church does weekly communion, but not all of them do. So he's probably going to want weekly communion. So I feel like the Episcopalian church is going to be a good fit for Lickitung. Okay, coughing and wheezing. Coughing is so funny. I think he's so funny. I love him. But I just think he's non-denominational. Coughing is too much of his own guy, too much of his own person. Wheezing is older. And coughing is maybe his son or his daughter, right? Who's non-denom. And this is the parent that wishes that their kid did not leave the Lutheran church, but their kid's now non-denominational. So, all right, Rhyhorn and Rhydon. Rhyhorn, I'm getting Eastern Orthodox vibes from Rhyhorn and Rhydon. The rock solidness. It keeps coming back to that. Chansey, I'm going to put him with the others right here in the Episcopalian tier. I feel strongly about that. Tangela. Oh. Tangela? Tangela seems like the kid in your Baptist youth group who doesn't not really sure what's going on, but they're really loyal and they're glad to be there. That's the vibe I get. Kangaskhan, very tough. A mother, right? You can see the inside the pouch right here. Kangaskhan has a child, so this is like protective mom, and I feel like it's protective. I feel like it's protective Pentecostal mom. That's what I'm getting from this. Okay, Horsey and Cedra. Horsey and Cedra. Let's see here. Horsey. Horsey and Cedra. I don't really know what to do with Horsey. I feel like Horsey's a good Catholic, and so is Cedra. Very dignified, proud of their tradition. That seems to be the theme that I'm going with on vibes for Catholics. Let's see here. We got Goldeen and Seeking. Goldeen, I immediately thought Episcopalian for some reason, so I'm going to put both of them in there. Staryu and Starmie, very ornate. I'm going to go Catholic just because like the ornate jewels and stuff, so I'm feeling like the Catholic influence. Mr. Mime, just a humanoid Pokemon. Mr. Mime gives me big Methodist vibes. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know why, but he just gives me Methodist vibes. Scyther. Ooh, Scyther. Kind of tough. I've been putting all the edgy Pokemon in Presbyterian tier because I feel like they're the edgiest denomination on the internet, on theology internet. They just love to be edgy and out there. The Calvinists, they love that. Jinx. Oh, Jinx is kind of creepy. But Jinx seems like protective Pentecostal mom as well. Not protective mom, but like, uh, you know, I don't know. That's the vibe I'm getting. Electabuzz. Let's see. Electabuzz. Ooh. Right. Edgy again. I'm going to go Presbyterian. No, I'm feeling more Baptist. I'm feeling more Baptist for Electabuzz, but for Magmar, Magmar is very chill. He's got the fire thing going on, so I feel like Methodist, but he's very chill. I feel like he'd be Eastern Orthodox. I feel like he's very chill. He loves a good tradition. So that's what I'm gonna go with. Let's see. This is Pinsir. I'm surprised I've gotten all the names. I'm still getting them all correct. Pinsir. Let's see. I'm gonna put Pinsir. Pinsir seems kind of angry, but I don't think any denomination is angry. He is a bug. He lives in the forest. I feel like he would be very stalwart in the face of difficulties. I'm not getting a real strong vibe anywhere here, and so I'm going to put him in the Presbyterian tier. I don't know. That's the closest I could get. Tauros. Very Spanish influence here, and so because of the Spanish influence, I'm going to put Catholic. Magikarp and Gyarados. Very fun. Magikarp is a very fun Pokemon. He's also just here to vibe, so I'm going to put him in the non-denom tier. Gyarados, also edgy. We've been putting the edgy ones in Presbyterian tier. Lapras. Lapras, I'm getting big Episcopalian vibes from Lapras. Very dignified. I don't know. That's the vibe I'm getting. Ditto's a non-denominational evangelical. Yeah, absolutely. Ditto's known for copying things, right? He copies other Pokemon, but I don't feel like the non-denoms copy anybody. So that's not what I'm going for there, but I don't think any of the traditions, just like all the traditions copy each other in some way. All right, Eevee. Eevee gives me very honestly, Eevee does. Eevee gives me Methodist vibes. I feel firmly about Eevee going to the Methodist Church. Vaporeon, I definitely get more Presbyterian vibes from Vaporeon. Jolteon, I don't want to say it's edgy, but I also feel like Jolteon would be Presbyterian. No, Jolteon feels more Catholic to me. He looks like he would do apologetics, Catholic apologetics. Flareon is Pentecostal. They need that Pentecostal fire. Porygon, the digital Pokemon. Who's the best denomination online? I got to go with Catholics here. The Catholics have so much presence online. It's incredible. Ooh, the fossil Pokemon. These are going to go in Eastern Orthodox or Catholic because they're old. But which one is which? This one feels very Eastern Orthodox. Omanite and Omastar feel very Eastern Orthodox to me. And then Kabuto and Kabutops, I'm going to put them in Catholic tier. And then there's another one. There's another fossil Pokemon here called Aerodactyl. And it's very old as well. And it's high flying. But I'm actually getting kind of more of an Anglican vibe from Aerodactyl. And I'm not exactly sure why, but that's the vibe I'm getting. Snorlax, just a big guy. Snorlax is very sleepy. He likes to relax. He's probably just at your local Baptist church, just hanging out, just chilling. Okay, we're now in the legendary Pokemon here. So these is Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres. Articuno, the Ice Bird. I get an Anglican vibe, like Church of England vibe. I'm from there as well. I get a Presbyterian vibe from Zapdos, and then Moltres. Let's put in Pentecostal because of the fire. Okay, we got only 5 left. Only 5 left. Dratini, the dragon Pokemon. Dratini feels like Dratini and Dragonair feel very like Eastern Orthodox to me, but Dragonite is like just a completely different design. I get a completely different vibe, and I get a much more. I get like an Episcopalian vibe from Dragonite. He seems like the really nice guy at work, who you know, and then you're like, where do you go to church? And he goes to his local Episcopalian church, right? He's like, oh, my Episcopalian church, you know, we have such a nice young adult Sunday school class, right? This is like your pet, like your really super genuine, kind dude at work who goes to the local Episcopalian church. Mewtwo. Oh, Mewtwo. That's really hard. Genetically altered. Genetically altered Pokemon. Let's see. Mewtwo gives me Mewtwo is very serious. You gotta go with Catholicism for Mewtwo, and then Mew gives me very just chill, but also Mewtwo's a very caring about. He's always trying to help other Pokemon, so I feel like Methodist here for that. So yeah, there we go. We got there's the Methodist tier, Baptist tier, Presbyterian, the Catholic Pokemon, Eastern Orthodox, non-denom, Lutheran, Anglican, Episcopal. That was actually way harder than I thought it was going to be, but I know some of you are probably yelling at your screen at it now, so I want to know what you think in the comments. Let me know where I got it wrong. Let me know where you would put different Pokemon in that, and I just thought it would be fun to do kind of a silly video for today, but I'm Reverend Matt, and I'm the Connectionalist. Until next time, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.